Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified 2 targets to replace Romelu Lukaku, and they are not Ben Yedder. We'll be talking about that, but we've also got 2 big updates for you from Portugal. The first is that João Felix, who many Manchester United fans felt would be coming to United this summer, he was certainly linked to us quite a lot. He has actually signed for Atletico Madrid for over £100 million. That was his release clause, so they're using the Griezmann money that's come through there. And also Bruno Fernandez. Look, we did the video this afternoon. Sky Sports are talking about Bruno Fernandez. That's the positive to take from today. There is talk of private jets flying in from Porto to Manchester and things like that. And there's edits and everything going out there. People are getting excited, which is great to see. But at the moment, it isn't anything more than what we had this afternoon with regards to Bruno Fernandez. But we have got a few other things that we need to talk about, and we're going to start off with Romelu Lukaku. Fabrizio Romano, who is a journalist for sort of Demartio, very good last summer, very accurate with, especially around Liverpool. Not been bad this summer, but he's talking about Lukaku in the next few hours. Lukaku's agent's going to meet with Inter Milan and all this stuff, which has apparently been going on for a number of weeks anyway. But there is a feeling that Romelu Lukaku doesn't want to get onto the plane on Australia. And that's not because he's Dennis Bergkamp or B.A. Baracus and he's got a fear of flying. It's because he doesn't want to be part of the Manchester United squad over for a month in Australia when he could be on his new journey, which I think everybody knows he needs to take. The issue is, where are Inter Milan going to get this money to buy Romelu Lukaku? And again, I think, what is it? Absence makes the heart go stronger, doesn't it? I spoke this morning about Gareth Bale and how, I wouldn't actually mind him coming to the club now, whereas a month ago I was like adamantly no. And with Lukaku I was like adamantly we've got to get 70 million, and now I'm like I'll just sell him for a packet of crisps. Just not quite that, but I would just like to see Romelu Lukaku just moved out of the club, to be honest with you. And I think that needs to happen, and I agree with Lukaku, and I agree with the stories that there's no point in him going. Like, if Lukaku goes with the squad on Sunday, how easy is it to sell a player when he's in Australia? It's like, if he's going, let's get it done, and let's get it done ASAP, really. Honestly, Mark, I don't think you guys will sign any of these names you've been mentioning over the last week or two, says Meredithian04. Well, you're wrong, because Manchester United over the last week or two will have been linked with about 100 players, and we will definitely sign one of them. I mean, the situation with United at the moment is I think there's a list. I've said this before. I think United, and a lot of United fans have guessed this list. I think we're going to end up with James, Wan-Bissaka, Longstaff, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, and that's it. I don't think we'll get that's what I would put money on. They'll be the 5 signings, and whether that's good enough or not, well, we can talk about that in a minute. I personally don't think it is. What is your dream midfield plus love your video, says Ted Robertson. My dream midfield would be Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba and Thomas Partey. I'd like that, of what's available at the moment. My dream midfield would obviously have Kante in it, but for what's available for Manchester United at the moment, that would be that. And you've got to consider that the African nations, the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations is still on. The Copa America is just finished, so if we are looking at players from there, which I'm not 100% we are, then that might be a little bit of a delay. Anyway, let's bring it back to Lukaku. Make sure you smash the like on the video, everyone, and make sure you subscribe if you are new. We're on that road to 500,000 subscribers. So if you want your notifications, we were live this afternoon talking about Bruno. And it just seems to be a lot of breaking news around Manchester United at the moment. We haven't had a late night one yet. That's the weird thing about this transfer window. I remember in previous transfer windows, we were going live at 11 o'clock at night quite regularly. I think we've only done it once so far. That's a little bit weird. Maybe that's what July has in store for us. But this latest story is from The Standard. Romelu Lukaku to leave Manchester United, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has targeted 2 players. One of them's Moussa Dembele, which I will tell you now will not leave Lyon. Moussa Dembele is not leaving Lyon. I know we keep getting linked to him, and a lot of people like him. Formerly at Celtic and Fulham, he is not going to leave Lyon. The other player is Nicola Pepe, which is interesting on 2 levels. I mean, on many ways, you could laugh this story off because they're basically saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is targeting 2 players to replace Romelu Lukaku, one of 2 players. One's Moussa Dembele, one's Nicola Pepe. Well, Moussa Dembele's not leaving Lyon because Lyon have sold their left back, Ndembele and Fekir, and they won't sell anybody else. So Memphis isn't going to leave either. if Leon President is telling the truth, and he said that a few weeks ago. So that's not happening. So you're wrong there at standard. And then the second one is Nicola Pepe's not even a striker. So how can he replace Lukaku? He's not a striker. He's a right winger. So, but what I like about that story is that maybe they just haven't realised what we know, but actually there is interest in Nicola Pepe, who scored a lot of goals for Lille from the right wing. And again, Luke Skywalker's think Inter has signed 6 players this window so far. Yeah, it is a little bit worrying. They need to escalate their signing of Romelu Lukaku very, very, very quickly. But Pepe wants to come to Liverpool. Somebody just said there. I mean, look, Nicola Pepe is linked heavily with Liverpool and also Inter Milan, who can't afford him, so he's not going to go there. But Nicola Pepe fits in perfectly with Manchester United. There's a lot of people I speak to who would love United to sign this player. And, for what he did with Lille, I mean, you get negative people saying, oh, he's really gangly and he looks really, really clumsy. Well, he can't have, he's not Phil Jones on the right wing. He actually has scored a lot of goals for Lille and created goals, and he's a very exciting player. And if he was coming in as a Lukaku replacement, i.e. comes in on the right wing, then I would... Because remember, Lukaku did play on the right wing quite a lot last season as well, so maybe that's where they're going with it. But it is interesting. Look, Nicola Pepe is going to leave Lille. Where's he going to go? He's not going to Real Madrid. He's not going to Barcelona. Might go to Bayern Munich. I doubt he'll go to Inter Milan. Liverpool, PSG, maybe Manchester United. Arsenal can't afford him. Man City won't want him. Spurs would be a great destination for Nicola Pepe. I think they're really short in the winging positions. But look, maybe he isn't going to come to United, but he's certainly a player that we should be considering. And for about £60 million. Jimmy Cartwright says, don't you think Lukaku is better up top with Rashi? I think Lukaku is better on a plane to Italy, leaving Manchester United. That's what I think. I think Lukaku's just got to go. Jokes apart, Romelu Lukaku does need to leave Manchester United. And the reason he needs to leave Manchester United is because we do not need... a player like that does not suit Manchester United because he's a penalty box king. He is the penalty box king. He scores a lot of goals in the penalty box, but his build-up play, the fact that he's a bit of a flat track bully, these are not things that Manchester United really need at Manchester United at the moment, and it's as simple as that, isn't it? That's just the way it is. We need to move on from that, and I do wish Lukaku all the best. I think I know what to expect from Lukaku. He will score a lot of goals. People will start talking about him, saying, oh, what a great player he is. I think we've tried it out with Lukaku and it's time to move it on. And in conclusion of that area of the show, I do not want him to be at Manchester United anymore. I just don't think there's any point in it. I just hope the Scousers don't nick Fernandez offers in case we take so long, says Barry Lee. I'm very, very... Well, look, the United stand, and me especially, in relation to Bruno Fernandez, basically it's my signing. It's my gift from Manchester United Football Club if we sign him, because I've never shut up about him for about 4 or 5 months. He's brilliant. I've heard... And the thing is, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon now, but I've heard, he can't play in the midfield 3. You've never watched him. We're not even in for him. Yes, we are. He might not work in England. Yes, he will. And, I just want this signing, but I've sort of gone into that initial excitement, and now I'm just like, get the deal done. Keep it on the down low. I'm really excited, but I'm just pretending I'm not. I'm pretending I'm not excited, but I am very excited, and I think the deal will get done. I'm not believing about jets flying in or anything like that, but I do think that United will get this deal done by the end of next week. Let's see. Praveen Thomas says, can't understand why Woodward is dilly-dallying Bruno Fernandez deal. If reports are true, it's stupid to bid so low for him, 35 million. I think we will get Bruno Fernandez for £55 million sterling, and I think that is a very, very good deal. The interesting thing is, what you make a very good point there. Why are we but potentially bartering with Bruno Fernandez, right? João Felix has just gone to Inter Milan for over £100 million, right? What is the difference between João Felix getting a load of assists and goals in a Benfica side that is better than Sporting Lisbon's side, and Bruno Fernandes getting a load of goals and assists from midfield in a team that's not as good as Benfica? One player is 19 and goes for over 100 million quid. The other one is 24 and he's going to go for half that. This is where United need to be a little bit careful, because if we get him for 55 million, I think we've got a major bargain there. But if we're bartering below that, going, we only want to give you this, we only want to give that, João Felix has just gone for 100 million quid. And I don't see a massive difference between those two players. I think João Felix could be a very, very good player. But at the moment, Bruno Fernandez, I would take him every day of the week over him because he actually is more consistent and you know what he is. So we've got to be a little bit careful about that. I'm really hyped for Dani Olmo. Where do you see him playing and how can he contribute to the United team if we sign Fernandez as well, says Emperor. I don't think we'll sign Dani Olmo, to be honest with you, Emperor. I would like us to sign Dani Olmo, but I don't think that he will. I don't think that he will. He's gone to Atletico Madrid, sorry. Yeah, Atletico Madrid is where he's gone. I'm getting mixed up with Inter and Lukaku and Pepe and everything. João Felix has gone to Atletico Madrid. God, please don't think he's gone to Inter Milan because then you're going to think they haven't got any money to sign Lukaku. So I'm really sorry. He's not gone to Inter Milan. He's gone to Atletico Madrid. The Lukaku dream is still on. It is still on. But you know what I mean. It is a little bit funny. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is Paul Pogba. Let's talk about Paul Pogba. So Paul Pogba has apparently going to hand in a transfer request on Friday when he returns to Manchester United for pre-season training. This is coming from Marca. I do not necessarily think that will be the case, but it's a very, very significant thing for Manchester United because at the moment we're talking about getting deals over the line for Bruno Fernandez, selling Romelu Lukaku, maybe bringing in a Harry Maguire, maybe bringing in a Sean Longstaff. If Paul Pogba comes back to Manchester United and on Friday and hands a transfer request in, knowing full well, because he will only hand a transfer request in if he knows Real Madrid or Juventus have got the money for him. He ain't going to hand his transfer request in and let that go public and then Real Madrid go, yeah, Paul, we loved your last album, but we haven't got any money for the second one. You know, and that is, Pogba will not do it. So basically what we're going to find out at the end of the week is how hungry Pogba is to go, but also he will be made aware whether somebody's got the hunger to get him. Now, if Real Madrid have got 150 million quid and they want to make a big signing, which they probably do, we're in trouble. Because Pogba, he can force this move. He can force this move. And if he forces this move, what do we do as a football club? What do we do? It's a rhetorical question. What do we do as a football club if Paul Pogba insists he wants to go? You've got to let him go. But we haven't, the interesting thing now is, if Pogba leaves Manchester United, get in the live comments, who do you go for? Because Ndembele's gone, Rabiot's gone. We're hopefully going to get Bruno Fernandez. João Felix has gone. Griezmann has gone. Like, the best players are pretty... This is why it's so important for United to get the Bruno Fernandez deal done, and I feel a lot more relaxed about it now than I did a couple of days ago, because I was like, why has it gone so quiet around that deal? But a lot of the good players of this summer transfer window have gone, which is why United are in such a terrible position with Pogba, and we might make the cardinal sin of going, there's £500,000 a week, please stay for money. We should not do that. As I said before, it should be just say, look, we're not selling you, but give us one more year and we'll let you go next year. That's what I would do if I was United, because it's so difficult to let him go. Obviously, people will talk about people like Tillemans or a Maddison or many other players out there, but Paul Pogba is a very difficult player for Manchester United to replace. A very difficult player for us to replace, and it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see how we do it. But I would hope that I don't know what I hope. I don't know what I hope, to be honest with you. I genuinely don't know what I hope with the Paul Pogba situation. Do I hope that he suddenly decides he wants to stay at Manchester United and sign a new contract? Or do I hope that he does hand the transfer request in, because I think it's about right that he does go? Or the ideal for me is that he just stays for one more year, gives us another year, and then he goes, and then we've got time to get a replacement in. I don't want him to sign a new contract, because I think beyond all this, we're talking about a hypothetical situation. Saul Niguez, Sean Mullen spoke about him this morning. He would be very good, but you would lose the attacking element with him. Lo Celso's a good player as well, says C Gaming and a few others. Ericsson, says Thomas Hodgkinson. You've put forward three players there. For me, Lo Celso and Ericsson would be the better options because they've got more attacking intent, whereas Saul Niguez is a bit more defensive. I'd like to see Saul Niguez as our CDM. But we do need players with an attacking intent as well. Nabil Fekir, Sadia, it's very, very big shoes to fill, but it's big shoes to fill anyway. But what I would say is we're sort of, as I said, we're sort of in this bubble of we've got a Pogba problem to solve, because if he goes, how do we replace him? If we come out of the bubble for a second and look at the last 3 years, do you want or do you think giving Paul Pogba a long-term contract is a good idea? Because I don't. I don't think that's the solution. I don't think it is on Friday. Please say, Paul, we've got a big bag of money for you for another 4-year contract. That's a massive mistake, because over the last 3 years, he has been Mr. Inconsistent. And that will continue. I think he will always be brilliant on his day, terrible in games inexplicably. So, yeah, that is a subplot that I feel that we're all ignoring that could blow up into the biggest story of the summer, because there is this impatience about what the centre-back's going to be. Are we going to get a right winger? Who the midfielders are going to be for United? Who's going out the door? When are we selling Lukaku and Darmian and maybe Rojo? And can we sell Sanchez, etc., etc.? That's what we're focusing on. But then you've got this ticking time bomb of Paul Pogba. And if he says he wants to go, that will just move everything out of the way and everything goes into a mess. And obviously being on the tour, this is the issue, isn't it? This is why you don't want the Pogba thing to run all season, all pre-season, because we're out on a tour playing games quite regularly from next week, and there's not many weeks left in the window. So I think United will bend over backwards with the lube to say, please do whatever you want to us to stay. But if you Paul Pogba, and I don't think Paul Pogba's a stupid guy, if you are Paul Pogba and you put yourself in his shoes, you don't put it anywhere else. You put yourself in Pogba's shoes for a moment. I would look at the United situation and say, I'm a World Cup winner. I've been here for 3 years. I'm a big world star. I like what Real Madrid have done. Bloody hell. Eden Hazard, Zidane's back there. All the players they've bought, they're going to dominate. They're going to dominate world football, and I want to be part of that. Manchester United, Matic and McTominay and Fred. Yeah, screw that. Oh, and Ashley Young's still here, and Lingard. Forget about it. So it's going to be interesting. At the moment, the way I think it's going to go, well, let's have a look. Let's put it to the poll. Live comments, 3 choices. Do you think he's going to transfer request, new contract, or stay for another year? What do you think is going to happen? I'll read some of those. Super chat. Philip Richardson says, Director of Football should be our next signing. I would love to see Manchester United have the same plan as Dortmund, signing unknown players with potential. Philip, I think the Director of Football is an absolutely fantastic thing that Manchester United need to do, but it should not be our next signing. We may as well wait until next season, because a new Director of Football cannot come into this club on the 3rd of July with 1 month of the transfer window left and do anything this transfer window. A Director of Football needed to be here months before this transfer window to have any impact. They can be the best Director of Football in the world, with the biggest black book of contacts, youth players that would suit United. They'd still need 3 or 4 months to come into this club, look at the players we've got, look at the gaps, speak to the manager, budget, this, that and the other. There's no point in a Director of Football coming in now to be involved in transfers. Subrajit Nandan says, if David Silva and Bernardo Silva can play in the same team, why not Pogba and Bruno? So they can play in the same team. It was just some nonsense of people going, you can't play Bruno Fernandez and Pogba in the same team because defensively we'd get annihilated. Like Pogba and Bruno Fernandez are going to hold hands in the opposition's penalty box and just wait. Of course they're going to track back and we're going to have a system. That's the whole thing of... If anybody knows anything about the way Solskjaer's team play, it is a very hard-working team. And yeah, it likes to attack, but it's a very hard-working team as well. So it would work absolutely fantastically. Shavish Singh says the problem with Pogba would be, do we have enough time to replace him, even if we get the fee we want for him? He's the only class midfielder at United, and we would need 2 replacements for him alone. I agree with that. I do agree with that. You've got to get the right price, and you've got to get 2 players in to replace Pogba. So we'd need 4 midfielders. 1 to replace Herrera, 1 to replace Fellaini, and then 2 to replace Pogba. And is the quality out there for us to do that? There is a Bruno Fernandez picture floating around on Twitter, Jazz Marar. It's fake. I've seen it. I saw it before I came live. He is not. What makes me laugh about this is you've got people saying there's a private jet flying in from Portugal. There's a picture of Bruno Fernandez in a Manchester United polo. It's all fake. And you know why it's fake? Because Manchester United leak stories like a sieve. And if Bruno Fernandez was in the UK... And if Bruno Fernandez was being photographed in tops, we would know about it days before. He is not in England. It is not happening yet. Razar Sharp says he'll put in a transfer request. Few other people are saying we'll give him a new contract. Some people are saying we'll swap Pogba, which means he'll put in a transfer request. Transfer request. 35 days left, says Callum Mack. Any news on Maddison, says Christopher Fox. We won't be signing Maddison. We won't sign Maddison. Not if Pogba goes, we might sign Maddison, but because we'll have a load of money, but we won't sign Maddison. And the interesting thing about Pogba, Isco, says Ash Motgar. Yeah, it'd be an interesting one. Pogba for Isco and 80 million, says Tom Fisher. The interesting thing about Pogba is we're in trouble. We literally cannot. What we'd have to do with Pogba is go and sign his replacements before we sell Pogba. That's what we would have to do. We would have to say to Real Madrid or Juventus, you've got to give us time. You've got to let us go and get some replacements, because if we sell you Pogba before, we're going to get screwed over. And also, a transfer for Paul Pogba, it ain't going to happen in 2 days. It's going to take weeks. So we would have to get our transfer business done before. What about Maguire, says Kazil. I think we will sign Harry Maguire. That's all I can say at the moment. Random Gaming says Leicester are already using the Maguire money at the moment. Mark Whitten says, hi Mark, quick question. Rashi, in my opinion, would be our best on loan for a season. He has great potential and it would refocus him and get him away from Jesse. Thoughts? Mark, I think there's absolutely no chance that Marcus Rashford will be leaving Manchester United on loan at all. He is, rightly or wrongly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer absolutely loves him. So that won't happen. Do I think that it's the right thing to do? I personally wouldn't loan him at the moment, because who are you going to play up front? So Lukaku's hopefully going to leave. Depends who you brought in as a replacement. A lot of people talking about Ruben Neves as a replacement for Paul Pogba. Yeah, good player, but you'd have to pay a lot of money for him. Pogba leaves and we get Bale, says Peter Akichikuku. Well, that brings me on to what I said this morning. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Let's see if we can get a couple of thousand likes before we're over. And make sure you do subscribe to the channel. I think we've gone past 487,000 subscribers. 13,000 away from the big one. It's getting exciting. But it's funny because this morning I did a video on, well, every morning at 7 a.m, Transfer Daily, every night at 8 o'clock, this show. And if anything happens in the day or at night, we will go live for that. But so make sure you are subscribed, bottom right hand corner. Get your notifications on by clicking the bell so that when we go live, you get a notification. You'll need that over the next few days and weeks because there's going to be some big deals going off. But I spoke this morning about Gareth Bale. There was no source to it. It was just an opinion on Gareth Bale because we have a conversation on this channel, and I had been thinking over the last few days that, you know what, I'd rather have Gareth Bale than nothing on that right wing because it was so weak there. Interestingly enough, this afternoon, Marca started talking about Gareth Bale and saying that if Gareth Bale does decide to lead Real Madrid, Manchester United would be his preferred option. I didn't know this morning when I started talking about it, so maybe we are starting to get the stirring of the pot from Spanish sources that, they want. If you're asking me where Pogba's going to go, I cannot think that it's going to be Juventus. It's got to be Real Madrid. And if he goes to Real Madrid, I cannot think that they won't offer us up some players. And then I start to think, well, what are Manchester United going to do about that? But it will be interesting. 50 Cent says, where's financial fair play? City have 8 midfielders and it's not fair. God knows. Financial fair play was last seen hanging around a lake about 5 years ago, I think, and I don't know where it ended up, but there we go. Which reminds me, that was very, very sad news, wasn't it, about the Swiss footballer, only 24 years of age. I forget the name, and that's really, well, it's just off the cuff, isn't it? But 24 years of age, I think she played about 30 times for Switzerland, and they were in Italy on a break or something like that, and she went missing, and they found the body today. So really, really sad news for the world of football, that. But yeah, I don't know. Financial fair play, God knows. I don't know what's going on with that. Why not loan Lingard and have him refocus on his return future to Manchester United, says GMAT. I'd loan Lingard. I would loan Lingard. I don't think we can afford to loan Rashford. I really don't want Bale, says Subash Sharma. Lots of people don't want Bale, don't worry. Isco, Partey and Bruno Fernandez, says Jay Langford. Who would you replace Pogba with, Mark? Who would I replace Pogba with? I think Ndembele would have been good, but that's not happened. You want somebody with some attacking intent. If we let Pogba go and bring Bruno Fernandez and a midfielder like Saul Niguez, then everyone will just swamp Bruno Fernandez because he's the creator. The whole idea of getting Bruno Fernandez is to give you the right side of the pitch with a creative midfielder and the left side of the pitch with a creative midfielder, but both have the discipline to be supporting the CDM. If Pogba goes, you lose that creativity from the left, so you need somebody to come in and do it. So for me, it probably would be a Christian Eriksen or a Maddison or a Ruben Neves or someone like that. But I don't know. I mean, look, I never answered the question. What do I think Pogba's going to do? My heart says he'll be here next season. Sorry, my head says he'll be here next season. My heart says he's going to hand in a transfer request. So whatever that, or my gut, as they'd say on a certain show, my gut says he's going to hand in a transfer request. But my head says it's not logical. He'll stay. I think David De Gea will definitely stay. Thoughts on Manchester United signing with Pro Evo, says Phil Mitchell. Well, I'm a FIFA boy, so I don't know whether I'll go to Pro Evo. And the initial topic, if Pogba leaves, Gomez will get a lot more minutes. So it's a big step up. Do you think Angel Gomez can fill the shoes of Paul Pogba? I mean, he's literally half the size for a start, which isn't necessarily an issue, but it's a big step up for him. I wouldn't mind it. Carl Newton, hi Mark. Will Fernandez get the number 8 shirt off Mata as he has it tattooed on his arm? Well, you know what? I actually, from a football club that has, for a football club that waited till the 29th because that was going to be the shirt number of Wan-Bissaka, you could almost see them making a stupid decision like, let's not sign Bruno Fernandez because he wants the number 8 shirt and it's Mata's. All the more reason why we should have got rid of Mata. But does it matter? Look, Mata should just take whatever bloody shirt he's given. I think he's lucky to be here. So yeah, I would give Bruno Fernandez the number 8 shirt, but knowing Manchester United, they probably wouldn't. Carl Newton, yeah, we've read that one. Good point. That it is a good point. The shirt number thing just seems ridiculous. I mean, the only shirt number I'm bothered about is the number 7 shirt, and we've got a plonker in that. But it seems to be a big thing now, these shirt numbers, doesn't it? So much so that you wait until a certain date to announce a player. Wan-Bissaka 29th, wasn't it? Number 29. Does it matter, says Smutty? Yes, you've got the joke there. Nick P. Mark, do you think Ollie's long-term approach will ultimately benefit us, or is he being naive thinking he's got time and many windows to rebuild? He's got to rebuild whilst being successful on the pitch, and that can happen. It's funny, you know what? I'm going to promote something here on YouTube. I've never, obviously we're on YouTube now, and I know about the United Stand, obviously, and That's Football and Mark Goldbridge, all brilliant channels that you should all be subscribing to, especially That's Football and the Mark Goldbridge channel, and definitely this one. But one thing I'd not realised about YouTube, and there is a story here, is that when you can actually, like, I grew up in the 80s, so on a Saturday evening you'd get things like Noel's House Party, Big Break, things like this, Saint and Greavesy football show. So I typed them into YouTube one night, and they're all there. You can go back and watch all these episodes. So I've been watching Saint and Greavesy from 1990. It's a Saturday lunchtime show, and I'm watching it like it's amazing. But what they've also got there is, if you type in Manchester United season review 1989, you can watch that season, all the goals. Like, there's stuff like that on YouTube. It's brilliant. So last night I was up for ages watching the year after we'd won the FA Cup. So it was 1991. I'm only in October. Like, Mark Robbins was brilliant. Mark Robbins was a brilliant striker for United then. We had Hughes and McClare, and it's really, really good. But Sir Alex Ferguson came into Manchester United in November, I think it was, 1986, and he didn't win the title for 6 years, did he? So patience can happen, but it's not there like it was in those days. What Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to do is, you can't, I've said this before, if we go to Liverpool and Man City next season and get beat 4-0, it doesn't matter how patient you want to be, if you get played off the park, there's some things that are just not acceptable. And then if you're still losing games to teams that are down the bottom half, there's a problem. Patience will come with Solskjaer if fans collectively, if we see his vision is exciting, he's not quite there with the team that he needs, but there is definite positivity there. You know, McTominay's developing. Rashford looks a lot better. Martial's being more consistent. Wan-Bissaka's a great signing. Those sort of things, if we can see that those sort of things are working and the team are playing well, that's when patience will come. But you can't finish out the top 4. He's got to finish in the top 4 next season, because to not finish in the top... He's got to finish 4th. That's the position. I can see that 4th is ours next season, and if anything lower than that, we've failed. He's got to get that. But patience in going from 4th to 1st, yeah, he's got 2 or 3 years. Of course he has. And next transfer window will be as important as this one, because we're not we cannot be a title contender no matter how much money we spend this year. It is going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows for us to be a title contender, and that's where the patience comes. But we've got to be a top 4 team this year. You know, there's no patience to be 7th or 6th again. The patience is 4th. 4th is he's got to hit that. That's what I would say. So a long answer, but there you go. But you can go and watch some United stuff on YouTube now. Will Mad Marcus be making an appearance anytime soon, says Simon. Why do people keep asking this? Is this Mad Marcus under different names, or is he getting people to ask you? It's the second show in a row I've been asked about this. And basically, Marcus doesn't want to be on the show anymore. So at the moment, he's not on the show. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. So that's all I can say about it. It's sad and it's disappointing, but you know, lots of people have left the show for their own personal reasons, and you know, you've got to respect that. Blands says Madrid spent almost 400 million and I'm remodelling their stadium. Pogba deal without a player swap almost impossible. Doubt they match his wage either. Madrid have got to spend almost 400 million and are remodelling their stadium. Pogba deal without a player swap is almost impossible. So yeah, look, Juventus are spending money on De Ligt. When's De Ligt going to sign? When's De Ligt going to go to Juventus? So yeah, it's look. I don't know. My head says the deal won't happen for Pogba because I don't see how anyone can afford him. But my gut says he's going to come back and hand in a transfer request. And if he hands in a transfer request, somebody's got the money. That's what I would say. Gomez is awesome. He just needs an opportunity, says Brayo. Stone Cold, I did want to come back to your comment before. I'm glad I've clocked it again. He says, anything happening with Koulibaly, or is it dead in the water? He's 10 times the defender that Maguire is, or am I dreaming? Look, Koulibaly, Manchester United wanted Koulibaly. Mourinho wanted Koulibaly. There was a chance that United were going to move for Koulibaly in January, but Mourinho got the sack. My theory was always that United kept that interest going to the summer and tried to sign Koulibaly. But Napoli said, not for sale, and we won't even listen to you for anything under 100 million quid. So United have gone, 100 million, no way. And that was the end of Koulibaly. You've then got Koulibaly on the AFCON saying, who knows what's going to happen. But I think United, with the Glazers in charge, don't want to... If you said to United, you can get Koulibaly for 95 million, or you can get Maguire for 70, they'll go for Maguire for 70 because of the money. It's cheaper. They won't, the gap of 25 million is worth it for Koulibaly because he's way better than Maguire. I agree with Stone Cold. But if this United board are offered a 70 million pound player or a 95 million pound player, they won't think about the quality. They'll just go for the cheaper option. So I don't think we're going to go for Koulibaly, but I do think a deal could be done. I think he is itching for a move. And a bit like Pogba, I think if he knew somebody was in for him, he'd force it. But I don't know whether I think United are probably the only club that can go for him. I can't see where Koulibaly could go. PSG maybe, if they've missed out on De Ligt, they might fancy a go. But yeah, United should be going for Koulibaly, and I wouldn't be surprised if he moved, but I don't think we're going to go for him. I'd like to see us go for him. Subhadeep Dutta says, I can see Woodward playing the centre midfield to fill... Woodward play centre midfield to fill the void in centre midfield. Yeah, it'd be cheaper, wouldn't he? Snap says that he does not want to go. Well, maybe that's something new, Snaps. I wasn't aware of that, but I think the last time I heard from Koulibaly in the press was that he was very much leaving the door open. Carlito's Way says, Mark, who is this kid, Spanish kid that we're getting from the Russian league? I don't know whether we're going to get this guy. What's his name? Dani Olmo from Zagreb. Is that who we're looking at? Looks really good. I like the profile of him. I spoke about him. Watch Transfer Daily this morning. That's what I would say, because we spoke about him on there. But I do feel it's a bit paper talk. And we started the show off talking about Pepe or Moussa Dembele replacing Lukaku, because that's a story this evening with the Standard. I don't think. You know what? I think some people, sometimes we attach ourselves to a story, and we've done it on this channel before. I used that Pedro from Fluminense in May, where we were talking about him, and I was, oh yeah, he looks really good, 21-year-old Brazilian, he's got the lot. But there are so many of those linked over a summer that most of them are not accurate. And I just think the Ben Yedder one, to me, and I might be wrong, and I do like Ben Yedder, but that Ben Yedder story to me just feels like it's going to be one of those stories that we look back on in August and go, oh, remember when we were linked to Ben Yedder and all those other players? I don't think we're going to do that deal, but maybe we will. I think he'd offer us something very different, and I do think Ben Yedder wants to leave Sevilla. William Riley, do you think if Pogba goes, he would go for Koulibaly and Maguire? No, I think we're only going to sign one centre-back, if I'm totally honest with you. Yeah, I do think we'll just sign one centre-back. Oh, we've got a new member. Welcome to Justin Medros, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Remember, if you want to join that, you can click the join button. You get a little badge next to your name. You get the access to the emojis. We haven't seen any beans emojis for a while, have we? But, yeah, well, it's a week on Saturday. We've got our first game. I was thinking about it. I said this to somebody today. You do realise that the biggest gap we've got between Manchester United games now will be the first international break in September, because that's a 2-week gap. We are now 9 days away from Manchester United's first game of the pre-season, and then we're playing every few days up until the start of the season. So the biggest gap, you won't have to wait 2 weeks for a United game until September now in the international break. It's amazing, isn't it? Pre-season is just around the corner. Really looking forward to it. Talking to Flex today, actually, he's sorted off over with Josh to Australia for the first part of the tour. So if you are going to be over for games there, seek them out. He's doing lots of stuff over there, going to be having lots of content for us, so looking forward to that. A few people want to recap. Well, why do people want to recap? We're 8 o'clock every night. You should be here at 8 o'clock, not having a recap. 8 o'clock UK time every night. Bang on the dot, we go live. 7 o'clock in the morning, and then any live shows in between, you can have recaps on those. But I will give you a recap because I'm nice. Make sure you smash a like then and subscribe if you're new. So the recap on the show was that we started off at the top of the show. João Felix has gone to Atletico Madrid. Some people thought he was going to come to Manchester United. The story from the Standard is that Romelu Lukaku is looking at Moussa Dembele and Nicola Pepe as replacements for Romelu Lukaku. Moussa Dembele is not leaving Lyon, so we can cross that one off. Nicola Pepe is a right winger, so wouldn't be a direct replacement for Lukaku, but he is going to leave Lille, and I think a lot of us would like us to sign him. Do I think percentage-wise, Nicola Pepe? 20%. I don't fancy us to be in for him at all, really. I don't think we're signing a right winger. But I'll talk about that on the Transfer Daily tomorrow because we're sort of running out a little bit of time now. In fact, I will pick that up on the Transfer Daily tomorrow. Let me just write that down. RW Theory. It's a bit like RL Theory from Game of Thrones, isn't it? Rhaegar and Lyanna. RL Theory. That went on for a few seasons, didn't it? But I've got an RW Theory, which is nothing to do with Game of Thrones. Ollie C. I'd be shocked if Ollie wanted Bale. His philosophy is based on youth. He's so determined to prove he can succeed without big names. Is that worrying? Well, there is the stubborn problem, isn't there? You should never close your eyes off to anything. Everything's a school day, and you cannot just say, I'm going to have a team of young players because I want to be the dominant force and I want to grow. You've got to have some experience in there. So, Gareth Bale could come in for a season and be absolutely amazing on loan, and then you could get Jadon Sancho. So, welcome to Ray Cowley, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. And we've got Aaron Mork Maloney who says, Edward Wood said he wants more exciting players. Which players do you think he meant? Bonus question, do you think Aaron is a cool name? I think Aaron is a cool name. I know a few Aarons. Edward Wood said he wants more exciting players. I think he's talking about people like Longstaff and Daniel James. I think exciting you can substitute for young, unproven. I think that's what United are looking at. A lot of young, unproven players. But that Olmo looks good. He does. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Please do smash a like. Subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. We will be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow UK time. I will pick up the RW theory, so make sure if you... It's a bit... I tell you what, we never do this on the United Stand. It isn't... It's like state... Make sure you watch the next episode to find out what the RW theory is. Tomorrow on United Stand, Goldbridge discusses the RW theory. Anyway, 7 a.m. tomorrow. We will go live later on tonight if anything happens. Sometimes it does about 10:30. And obviously, if we'll go live like we did this afternoon about Bruno Fernandez. If you want the latest on Bruno Fernandez, watch the video we did this afternoon when it broke. And yeah, have a good evening, everyone. I shall speak to you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Really enjoyed the show tonight. Good pace to it. Good questions. Really did enjoy it. Thanks for the contribution from Roberta Laura. And yes, we will end it there. I shall see you very soon. Thanks for watching.